Hey you guys, it is Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful projects from start to finish with easy to follow guides. And we are here for week 3 of Christmas in July. So I asked last week what you thought we should do this week as a project because I've done 2 layouts in a row. So I think it was Anne suggested maybe we should do a fun fold card. So that is exactly what we're going to do today. So I designed this super fun fold card. Let me see if I can do it like backwards from me to you. So we are going to recreate this card right now. I also think I've got all of the measurements and everything, the supplies and the measurements all included in the description above. So if you want to create your own, you totally can. So I decided this time we were going to do a little bit of mixing and matching. We had stuck pretty closely with the Icon celebration paper, and then the Iconic Imagery. So we're going to add a few more things in here, which are some more of the things or the products included in the online exclusives that came out in July. And so obviously some of them have a Christmas theme. And as I mentioned last week, I've done Christmas in July here on my page and my blog for actually the last couple of years. And it was just very nice and convenient that Stampin' Up! Decided to add into the online exclusives this time some Christmas related products. So this is a perfect time to, if you have not scrapbooked some photos from last year, you can go back and take a look at the 2 layouts that I've done so far. I have actually hit live on both the blog posts, so you can see the finished product, and I do also believe on both of them I've also linked it to the YouTube video. So while we're creating today too, why don't you suggest maybe what we should do next week? So I think I know what I'm going to do, but we will, I will take suggestions if you have something you would like to see. So today we're going to add in a few other things. So last week we did add in the greetings of the season. We're going to use that also today. And I have pulled the Golden Greenery stamp set and thin cuts. I've got the same embellishments, so we're going to play with the Cherry Cobbler and Pearl Adhesive-Backed berries. But I grabbed some more thin cuts. So we're going to use also the Greetings of the Seasons die. And like I said, I do think I got everything on the list above. And then the Golden Greeneries die. And then I've got some ink. Hey, Wendy, I've got some ink, and we're going to get a little bit messy. So I do have my glass mat down. So I've tried moving a light, and we're going to see how this goes so that we don't have crazy glare, but you can see what's going on. So I'm going to add my desk in here now. And me and my cute little hat are up in the corner. So we're going to create this one with all the fun little things tucked in here. There's lots of stuff here. Oh, I also did add this, the vellum. So the vellum is actually called, one moment please, because it's actually on a PDF in front of me. So it's the Gold Mercury Vellum, and it is beautiful. So it is different than other vellum, and let's just see. Here it is. So it is kind of fun. You can see here It cuts really well with the die cutting machine, but it is, oh, here we go. I said I moved the light around and I didn't even turn it on. So you can see here, it's like, it looks exactly like mercury glass, right? So there are 2 full sheets of each of these. And actually, I bet if you flipped it over, you could almost use it as like, instead of gold, you could almost use it as silver or white, like, not textured, but patterned vellum. So I'll just show you the 3 sheets, because this was actually, I just got this. And I know it's hard to tell the difference between this one, but this looks more like water splats. And one looks more like mercury glass. And then, so here's the back side, right? So I do think you could totally, and then this is more like paint-like almost. And then you can see if you flipped it over. So it is textured, which is kind of fun also. So I'm assuming it's whatever they put on the vellum to give it that fun look. But I just thought it was kind of fun. So I did add a little bit in here today to this project. And like I said, it does cut really, really well with the dies. So even like the little branches, it cut them perfectly, right? So I'm going to use the gold foil today, but just know that that is an option. So I used it to cut out some of these evergreens here and here. I just wanted to pull in the gold from inside the card to the front, or I guess the other way around, from the front to the inside. And then there's a little bell here too. So I think we'll get started. So like I said, I do think I've got all the measurements up in the description of the video. We're going to do this all like right from the start. So I have my pieces here. So these are obviously for decorating. And we need to move some things out of our way. Okay. So I am not going to quote any measurements. If you want them, like I said, you can find them in the description, or they will be in my newsletter this weekend. But this is just a standard card front. So we're going to score it. So this is a Mossy Meadow. And we're going to score it at like 4 1/4, right? Like a standard card. And we're not going to cut it. Okay. So there's our card front. And then we have a liner. And these are, like I said, funny measurements, so I'm not going to quote them. But I do know we're going to score this at 4 and at 2. Okay, I'm just going to put this behind me. Grab my bone folder. I'm just going to score these, burnish them, and then we will make our peekaboo on the front. Okay, so this is going to be our liner. I'm going to ink distress that in a second, but here's our card front. Right? So this one has the striped paper. I decided that I would do a different pattern paper for the front for this one. So I grabbed this one. This is also from the Iconic Celebrations paper, 6x6. So I have a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. That I do know. And I'm going to add adhesive to the outside. And then we're going to add, make our little, using our dies, we're going to cut our shape that then we will have this cherry cobbler piece peeking through. So I'm going to keep my adhesive around the outside, okay, because I want to cut my shape out of the middle. So you can use any shape to do this, but like I said, I'm going to use one of the coordinating dies, and then I use another one for the sentiment on the front. Okay, so right now, we're just looking like a normal card. So now I used this tag, this long one, and I want it in the middle, and I did it about 1/2 inch from the top. So I'm just going to move that out of my way a little bit. Move my keyboard out of the way. So, well, let's put it so that the actual side that cuts is down. Okay, so there we go. And we're just going to see if we got it about straight. Okay, and let's just put a piece of washi so it doesn't slide. Plus I have to actually open my card because I didn't do that. Okay, so now, because we don't want it to go through the back, right? We just want it to go through the front. So now I do still have my CM embossing machine. So we're going to put it on there. Now we're going to run it through my machine. And I'm just going to make sure that this actually went through all the layers before I move anything. And it did. It's like coming out there. So I did push it through and then I ran it back just to be on the safe side. So then you also end up with a tag you could use, right? So that could be another project. Okay, so now we have our cut panel in our front, and let's get started on doing inside. So I am going to, this is Basic Beige cardstock. I'm going to ink distress around the outside because I just kind of felt like it, you know, it needed a little something there. So I did that with crumb cake. And let me just, there we go. We're going to go like this. And I can just tap off in the lid like I used to do because it's just sitting on the edge of my glass mat there. So I'm going to add ink distressing to the liner, like I said. And then actually this little piece right here, which is another tag from that this same set, right? The Greetings of the Seasons die. It's this square one. I thought it just kind of fit well across the window. So I'm just going to add a little bit of ink distressing to the edge. I can even pick this up and use it. I even remembered to get my chamois wet to clean my glass mat after. I'm sure that means I forgot like 8 other things, but that's okay. And then I can add some just on these edges too. Very, very pretty. Okay, we'll just close that up and set that aside. I'm just going to quickly wipe off my glass mat. Okay, so now we will do some stamping. Just thought I should dry it maybe potentially before we start stamping. So on the inside, I used Mossy Meadow, and I used this stamp, which is from the Greetings of the Season. And I kind of liked that there's like 2 larger sentiments that you could put on the inside. So I'm going to use the one that says, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." And then we're going to mix it with one of the little stamps from the other stamp set. So I'm going to do this little guy right after. But I did stamp the sentiment in a Mossy Meadow. There we go. And I'll put this back. And on the front, I think I did Season's Greetings. So I'll pull that out also. So I have the Season's Greetings for the front. And then let's move some of this stuff out of our way. We need the little branches. So I love this 2-step stamping that's included in this set. It makes it like literally so easy. You get the outline and then you fill it in. And you could go either way. So, but I did my outline in a Mossy Meadow, and then I filled it in with Old Olive. And I did my outline first and then stamped the filler. So just so you know, sometimes I can hear the ding, but if it's like coming from somewhere else, I don't always see the comment until after. But so here we go. We're going to go a Mossy Meadow, and I just kind of tucked it in underneath because I really wanted to use those 3 little berries right there. So that's the embellishment, right? And so that's why I picked putting that under there. And it kind of just fit perfectly, right? So, oh, we need to stamp the front, so I still need that. But let's do the filler leaves. Like our easy coloring, right? You could totally color these, though, if you wanted. And I kind of like the fact that like it doesn't make it perfect, right? It adds kind of like the highlights and shadowing all at the same time. And it will dry back just a little bit, so it's a little bit lighter in the end. I'll set this aside. So we're just gonna let that dry, and we're gonna stamp the front tag with Season's Greetings in Mossy Meadow. Okay, I don't need these anymore, I don't think. I don't need my crumb cake anymore. I do need this. I do need this. And on the front, I did not add the twine through the hole, but I did cover it up so you can't actually see the hole. But so I kind of stamped off to this side so that there was enough room for the bell. And the Golden Greenery works the same way as I just did that little branch, right? And I did pre-stamp that beforehand, just so that I didn't have to do everything. And I kind of just did a whole pile of them at the same time because I knew I would use them. Okay, so I think we are finished with this one. Okay, so I think we've done all of our inking. Okay, so I'm actually going to now add the liner to the inside. So I'm just going to add adhesive onto the back of the card panel, and I've got to make sure that I put it in the right direction. Okay. So yes, if I don't acknowledge your comment right away, don't worry, I will come back. It has to do with the way that now things are getting streamed into groups. So I can't, the comments won't actually come in until later. Okay, so you can see it is smaller so that it will fit perfectly in there. So now I can add my decorative panel, and I did pick this piece from the Iconic Celebrations paper pack. So, and there's just a little bit of a border. Okay, and so I did cut a tag from Cherry Cobbler, and we're going to put it on right now. So this is where we're going to put this gold, the gold branches, right? So here's the trick. We're going to close the card, and you can see exactly where you need to add your adhesive. You add your adhesive right here, not here, or you will stick your tag down to the front. So I did on this one, just add a little bit of ribbon, and I covered the hole at the bottom. You could also put it at the hole at the top and just add a little bit of ribbon just so it looks like a faux tag. Or you could just add normal ribbon. I'm going to do it the same way I did last time though. So I'm going to add my adhesive right here on this pattern paper, and this piece just fits in exactly like a puzzle because it's the same shape that we cut out of the front, right? So it fits back in right like that. Okay. And our inside message is just, well, it will totally be hidden once we add the gold onto the front. So the only spot you could actually see the little message is just right there. And I cut this with the gold sheets, which, oh my goodness, if you have not tried the gold sheets, they are lovely. And I use the Golden Greenery's die, and I use this one that looks like the hearts. And so I just actually put it right like that. So it hides my hole once you, and you don't even have to actually put the little bow if you don't want to. But I thought it was just kind of fun. It kind of creates more of a scene on the front of the card, right, when it's closed, and it just kind of adds that gold in a nice way. So I'm actually going to use a liquid adhesive for this. And you just want to add adhesive right to the middle, right? So same as we only added adhesive over here, we are only adding adhesive in the middle of this, or you will get it stuck down to everything. And it literally never fails. You guys, I actually can't tell you the last time I heard a train. But it's kind of one of those nice days where I could have my window open, so I did. I probably should have closed it, knowing that that was going to happen. If it's not one thing, it's another. There we go. It's just stuck there for a little bit. Okay, so, right, I'm just paying attention because I do know that I want it to go across that little hole. So I'm just literally going to hold it here for a second. Recap my glue. And I'm just going to put something on top of it for a second. There we go. Okay, so like I said, we can save this for another project. So it's just going to go into my fun little bucket of things to play with for Christmas in July. So then, now we have our front sentiment. And I did use this gold ribbon, which the name is escaping me. It is from the Gold and Silver 1/8 inch trim combo pack. And so it comes with gold and silver. How much more perfect could that be for Christmas, right? So literally I just have a little knot there. So I am just going to, and it's fun. So this is the gold one. And on this side, it's all gold. And on this side, I know you won't be able to see it on camera, but there's a little bit of white that runs down the middle, and then it's gold on both edges. So you can decide how you want it to show. So when I did this, right, I wanted all of the gold to show, like I wanted it to be glittery to match my gold there. So I'm just going to tie this in a knot and trim it, and I can just add this with the glue dot. Just like that. Okay, and here's a little trick. If you, for some reason, have a little bit extra glue dot sticking out there, which I actually can't even see, I'm just going to tap it with my embossing buddy, And now whatever is facing up won't be sticky and won't get stuck onto something else. Okay. So we have all the pieces for this, but I'm just going to tie this piece right here. And I didn't make a real bow. I just wrapped the ribbon around my hand a couple of times. And so just like this. And then I tied it in the middle so that it bent like that, but we had lots of layers. So I'm just going to gather this all on top of itself. Like that, it's all stacked up. And now I'm going to just tie the whole thing together, right? So I don't have to worry about creating a bow. I'm basically just tying it all together like that. And then when we stick it down, I'm going to do that with a glue dot too. I will trim up my ends nicely. So this is dry by now. I'll just brush off my embossing powder. We can close this up. Move that out of the way. Okay, so now all I literally have left to do is decorate the front. So I did use the thin cut from in here to cut the bell, which oh, here it is. I'm like, I don't see the small bell. So here is the big one. That's just left over. So it actually should be in my little tray of things to play with. So don't forget, if there's something you want to see next week, make sure to let me know. So I did cut out 2 pieces of the evergreen with Mossy Meadow, and I just did it to add a little bit more texture down here at the bottom. So, and then I have one of the short pieces cut out of that vellum. So this will just go down here, and this one can just go up this way, and then this one can just go in the middle. Okay, and then this is my tag, and it's just going to go like literally right there. So you do have to be careful, right? You don't want adhesive up here on this part. If you're nervous you're going to add too much adhesive, just make a little mark for yourself. So I'm only going to add adhesive underneath my pencil mark, right? And before I push anything down, I'm just going to make sure, right, I'm not above my little pencil mark. My pencil mark is actually still tucked deep in there. Okay, so now I have one of these branches, which is Mossy Meadow and Old Olive. I have the other half of the evergreen, or it could be like a feather too, right? That's what it kind of looks like. And then there is the little Mercury bell. That we will add to the front to finish everything off. So I'm going to add my piece of evergreen first. I thought that it looks more like a feather when you cut it out of the vellum. And I'm just going to tuck this like that. Maybe a little bit lower. And then, so same thing. I'm just keeping my adhesive away from where I know it's going to like be over the card. So you don't want any adhesive on this part. So then I have the little bell. Actually, maybe I need to move it down just a little bit because we're going to add our bow right there. And I'll do that with a glue dot. Okay, and so I made it go on the top of the bell, but you could, if you if you felt like it wasn't going to cover up your little tag, you could also just put it on your tag. Now I'm going to just trim up my ends here, so they're pretty. That one is fine already. Okay, so there we go. We've got it all together. Ta-da! Now we just need to add the embellishment. So like I said, I did use these, the Cherry Cobbler and Pearl Adhesive-Backed berries. And and like I said, the reason that I stamped on the inside was just literally so I could add this cute little cluster of berries in here. Because I hadn't actually used it yet. So, but there's still lots of room on there to write your message. I did not add any embellishments on this piece, but you totally could. And then on the front, I did add another cluster of berries down here at the bottom. And then I added 3 single berries up at the top. So I wanted one just kind of tucked right in there. And I thought that using the Cherry Cobbler kind of made the insert kind of just perfect there. Okay, so there we go. So if you guys have not seen the other 2 weeks of Christmas in July, they're pretty good. Like I said, they're both layouts and they're super easy to replicate. If you want like the actual measurements, they are going to be in my newsletter this week, and the link is as a pinned comment on the feed. And if it happens to be missing for some reason, just let me know and I can come back and add it. But if you're not on my newsletter list and you want to be, it's literally www.chrisscreativelife.com/newsletter, and it'll take you to like the sign up form to give me permission to send you a weekly newsletter. So that's what I decided to do for week number 3. So we've got one more week. Week number 4 next week will be the final installment of Christmas in July 2024. So if you guys, thanks, Kathy. If you guys want to see something, make sure to ask for it in the comments below. I do have an idea, but you never know. You might change my mind. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, and we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.